Hey there, and welcome to our channel, where every day is an adventure waiting to be shared. I'm Manda, and together with Dan and Aria, we explore, capture, and most importantly, enjoy every moment together. Join us on this incredible journey around the globe. We take you through the canal boat that we called home for 10 nights. We discuss the layout, the features, inclusions, costs, challenges, positives, negatives, everything you need to know about hiring a canal boat for yourself for your own UK canal adventure.
Hello there. Alrighty, it is our last day on the boat today. It's raining, it's cold, it's miserable, it's typical UK weather, I believe. It's like 14 degrees. It is July. It's meant to be summer. And it's miserable. I'll show you outside. Ready? Look at this. It's in the front door area.
Are you sure, Mom?
Quickly. Summer train coming in. Anyway, I thought I would give you a bit of a quick tour of the boat. So if you decide that you want to come and do this and hire a boat, you know what's on board generally. Obviously each boat's different, each company's different, but they're generally, from what we've seen, all very similar. Even if you want to hire this boat, you'll know what to get. So we'll start at the front. There is a front door you just saw. We're not going to open it anymore, but there is the bow of the boat, which has tie rope point and the tools for the locks and the bridges and the hammer and the pegs to moor up, plus the water hose. I will note that if we were to come and buy a boat, we would have our flat out international hose and power cords on their reels. We would have our stack of multi-reels there, because that hose constantly gets tangled and it's really annoying because it's like all in wiggly waggly and it's annoying. So it's definitely something that we would bring over if we were to buy a boat and do this for a longer term. And I think that if you do already own a boat and you watch this, because I don't know, for whatever reason you watch this boat video, you should get one, flat out international. Anyway, so from the front doors, I'll turn you around. What have we got at the front here? We have the TV, which is tiny.
Tiny.
We have one PowerPoint there, which we've been using with our power board. Thank goodness we carry a power board. There's a radio, DVD player thing there. Yep, and there's a cupboard. There's also a wood fire little thing here, which we haven't actually used because you have to carry timber and stuff like that. And then we have, how many recliners, Aria?
4 spinning recliners.
Alright, do you want to give him a demo of the spinning recliner?
Yeah.
Go for it. It's been very entertaining, hasn't it, Aria?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also radiator heater things throughout. At the moment, we've got some clothes drying, don't we, Aria?
Mm-hmm.
After the rain. Windows throughout. And this is kind of your living area, and a 4-person table for dining. So that's your living and dining area. A couple of the windows are open like up the top, and some of them are like slide over windows, which is good. There's a map on the wall as well. Alright, into the kitchen.
This is the kitchen.
Alright, we've got a freezer and a fridge, both bar size, and a cooktop, a grill and an oven, plus a microwave, and the rest is pretty basic. There's like one fry pan, one saucepan, and kind of just enough cutlery and stuff for 4 knives, 4 forks, etc. So yeah, it's been enough for us. We've been fine to do dishes once a day and things like that. You do have to have the engine running to run the microwave, because there is not much of a battery sort of system on here. Enough to run 12 volt and things like that, but not enough to like use your microwave. So if you do want to microwave stuff, they say you have to have your engine going. There's also one little cupboard here, which we used for our pantry, plus a rubbish bin and plates and cups and things like that. Yeah, anyway, moving on, we've got a bathroom. It's kind of basic. Basin, toilet, shower and bath.
Shower bath.
A shower bath. It's got a heater in there, don't mind my clothes drying. The toilet, Daniel's decided to go faster so you can hear. So it's all vibrating now. The toilet is on this boat is not a canister. It is a storage tank that you get pumped out. So that's we were kind of prepared for like canister emptying, but on this particular boat, some are canisters and some are not. This particular boat is a storage tank, and we've managed to do with the 3 of us the 11 days without filling the holding tank. So yay to us. They say it lasts about a week, but depends how many people we have on board and stuff like that, obviously. I'll talk to you about the services as well along the canal that we found. We have only done like kind of 3 kind of canal sections, but they're all very similar. They're all designed for the canal networks and the canal boats. So there's canal services, which you get a key for, which gives you access to showers, toilets, like off board, I guess. So if you want a nice long shower to wash hairs or whatever, you know, you can do that. There's rubbish bins, there's the toilet dumping spots, and things like that. Water fill up points all along the way, and generally there's pubs, cafes, and things like that. You can stop along, have a drink, have a lunch, have a dinner, more near, things like that. There's mooring limits at some places. Some have time. Some are marked out mooring spots and time, and if they have a time limit, there's a sign that says how long with arrows and areas where you can, kind of like when you're free camping. There's other spots that don't have time limits. There's other spots that aren't even marked out where you can still moor up. As long as it's got like hasn't got a no mooring sign, you're pretty right to camp moor there. There's also generally towns dotted along, so even if there's a pub, it might not be a town. It might be designed for the canals from the history of the canals, but there's usually a town not far away as well. Every couple of days you're kind of going through a town, so you can then walk in and get some more supplies if you need. There wasn't a town that didn't have a shop of some sort to get something from within walking distance if you needed. So I think, and there were marinas and things along the way that you can park up at. We didn't. So if you do, and pumping out of your toilets and things like that, there's all those services all dotted along. The best advice that we can give is once you are going on the canal boat, if you're going on one particular route, get the canal guidebook for that. It's got everything listed that you need to know. When the locks are coming, when the bridges are coming, when there's lift up bridges you've got to do, there's mooring areas, whether they're private or public, the services that are there. Even when there is a town map, there's the shops are labelled so you can know how far you need to walk to get to the shop if you need it. The pubs are listed. Honestly, everything you could possibly need are in those guidebooks. We originally were going to do a 4 counties ring loop, and then that actually got closed due to one of the locks getting damaged. So we bought the canal book for that loop. Then we had to change plans, and so where we were. The next day there was a little shop where it had the other route that we could do in the other book, so we bought the second book so that we knew exactly what we were doing, how far we were going each day, planning it out to try to get there and get back in time and things like that. So definitely invest in that book, even invest in a couple of books if you're going to be on there longer and doing more of them, because they are literally the best resource of information, and you can just de-stress about knowing where to stop and where to get supplies or where to fill up water and things like that. So it's been great. If there's any questions about the services along the canal, let me know. And I think I've covered most of it anyway. Alrighty, and then we come to the next bit along the narrow section of corridor. You can see it's like literally like my width to our bed, which is a double.
Ta-da!
There's storage up here with a cupboard and little shelves. Shelf up the top here, I've just kept our dirty clothes up there, and there's drawers under the bed plus a heater next to it and a couple of windows. And you come further along the little narrow corridor to hanging wardrobe space. Ta-da! Which is great. Around the corner is some more hanging space. Ta-da! You can't really see in there. And some shelves at the top. And then on this side is, let me come through first, our second toilet.
Yeah.
and basin.
And basin. So, and we use this basin for our cleaning teeth.
Yeah, and then we come through to
My bed.
the second bedroom area. On this particular boat, it's 2 single beds. On others, we've seen like a second double bed. We've seen bunks as well. So it just depends on the boat and how many people can sleep. But we have beds on here. There's drawers underneath the bunks and little racks at the ends. That's pretty much it. We've kept one as Daniel's dumping zone and Ari's bed. Then we've got another cupboard here.
Where you keep your stuff, and there's normally our raincoat supplies in there.
But Dad's wearing them because it's raining.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like stuff that for the boat, the raincoats and broom bucket, blah blah blah. And then you come down to more of the like running of the boat at the back here with the steps.
We can show you that. So here you have where you keep in your key. Here is what the button that you press if something falls over. Just press the stop as instantly when the person falls on your board. This is the bilge pump. It pumps out the water that goes under into the engine area, and then if you press this, it'll go pump out.
Yep, because you don't want too much in there because it's boat awesome. And then all the controllers and on and off switches, which we don't really need to touch.
Yes, and behind this key is the headlamp switch. So when you go in a tunnel, you press this, and then there's a light at the front of the boat, and that will turn on so you can see.
Excellent. Alright, and on this other side is just like heating system here.
Yep.
Storage in there. Just like boat running bits down in the bottom half. And then you go out to the back where Daniel is right now.
Yeah, it's lovely out here, mate. Come boating, come canal boating, it's great.
Who against that?
So out the back there, you got your tiller and your throttle, and there's seats on either side for people to come and sit out and chill out and whatever. And under those seats, you've got gas bottles. There's 3 on this boat, I believe, obviously to run the cooktops and all of that sort of stuff. And on the other ones, all the batteries. And yeah, so the hot water is basically heated from the engine. So here's a tank that gets heated as the engine runs all day. So you've got to definitely be driving to have hot water and to have power, because there is no like, the way that the boat gets power is like kind of like a caravan where you're driving to recharge the batteries. So it's very similar. It's like a caravan, and on water you have to be conservative of your power, you have to be conservative of your water because it's just a water tank. You have to be conservative of your toilet space. You have to think about disposing of your rubbish in your toilets and all this sort of stuff. So it's definitely like, if you have been caravanning Australia, you definitely kind of slot in and know what you're doing on a boat most of the time, because it's very similar. Anyway, if there's anything we've missed on the tour, let us know. I don't think there's anything else you need to know. They're pretty straightforward, but hit us up with any questions of the boat.
I hope you enjoyed our tour of the boat.
And thank you for watching our canal boating series or videos. It's been an adventure. It's been different. It's definitely not been the best weather, but when you book in advance, you can't control the weather, so you just got to make the most of it. And there's it's definitely something different and lots of fun. Alright, so I thought we'd go through a summary for you of like positives and negatives, what we think, our costs, just a summary for anyone thinking about hiring a canal boat for themselves in the UK, and hopefully it helps with information that we haven't included in our 2 previous episodes or in the walkthrough.
Yeah, so it's a really unique way to travel and to holiday or have a holiday. You can do it as a lifestyle as well if you'd like to, if you're that way inclined, but we would strongly, strongly recommend hiring one first.
So you
get a feel for it first before you decide to jump into the
'Cause
jump
it's not-
aboard.
'cause it's not for everybody. But
No. And the experience that you have is completely different depending on the way you do it as well and how long you have on the boat and things like that. So it's definitely something to consider and something we really enjoyed, but it's something that you probably need to experience first.
Yeah.
The UK canal boat is something that you can't experience anywhere else in the world either. So if you are coming to the UK and you do want to experience that history, that culture, that way of life, we definitely think hiring one is a really good way to experience that.
it's definitely an experience. A totally different way to travel to anything that you probably have done before.
And totally different holiday as well. So,
Yeah.
you're not living in a hotel or anything like that. So,
I guess the closest thing would be like a houseboat, maybe,
or
on a river or something.
Yeah, or like a camper, like type.
Kind of.
Kind of similar. It's a bit of both, really.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely something like, that you can use.
It's definitely not motorhoming or caravanning. And it's definitely not staying in a hotel or an Airbnb or something. So it's definitely in between the two.
Yeah, for sure. It really gives you a great taste of the UK countryside, even just the UK kind of non-city life, more of the smaller towns and villages that are along the canal network. Especially like the history of the canals, like they've been around a long time. So you get to sort of understand why it was developed and things like that as well. So it helps with understanding like medieval time with castles and bridges and things that were created along the way prior to the canal network, and then you get access to these things in a different way, not having to worry about parking costs as well with a car. So you get a variety of experiences through the canal network.
Yeah, and it kind of can force you to use your feet as well a little bit because we don't have bikes or anything. So you can go to attractions along the way, but they might be a kilometre up the road, or shops might be a kilometre or two away from the canal. So you sort of can use your feet a bit more, and gives you another different aspect to the UK because normally you just kind of drive everywhere, or in London you might walk.
And you're more amongst nature as well if you park up along the canal and then go for a walk along the canal.
There's always like animals and birds and stuff around the canals too.
Yeah, so you're more amongst nature than towns and cities. So it's different there. And if you are in London and you're considering a canal boat as well, they have the Canal Boat Museum that you can go to, and that gives you all the history about the canal boats and especially the London part of it. And that gives you a really good base to learn from either before or after your canal boat adventure as well. So there's another tip.
I wouldn't do it unless you're doing a canal boat. It wasn't that good at a museum. But if you're doing a canal boat or have done a canal boat, it's interesting.
For sure. And if you're in the area and that kind of thing. So wouldn't go out of your way to do it.
Yeah. Some positives.
You can share the driving load if you're on a canal boat because it doesn't require a specific license or any specific experience. As long as you're confident to be able to go forward, go back, go left and right, pretty much good to go.
And how much sharing of the driving loads we do?
Not much. How much lock sharing did we do? Not much.
Yeah.
See? It's fair.
Spent a lot of hours on the back of that boat driving.
Yes. But it's possible. Like if you do want to.
Most people like sit as a family like at the back of the boat and like talk and stuff like that. Like we did that a lot as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I was a bit lonely up there.
Depends what was happening at the time as well. But yeah.
And it was like, I'm just going to go and sit on the laptop for now. I was like, all right, great.
I worked. Or I did school with Aria. It depends. It really depends. And if you are on a holiday and not living life on like the travel life that we live, you could probably share more of the driving more as part of your experience. So, but it gives you the option for sure. If you're trying to get a long way in a day as well, and you need to break it up between people, like you can do that. So it's not something to be scared of, to be able to drive the boat.
Mooring in nature along the canals is unique. It's very unique. And it's really nice. We enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
There were some killer like spots to stop, and literally like you're on the canal, you can just anywhere on the canal that's like straight and wide. I think we mentioned it, but you can just stop there unless there's like a no mooring sign, but they're pretty rare.
They were, yeah, on the canal we were on, that was rare.
Yeah.
You can even park up in cities like London has a canal section, mooring section that you can park up, and
I think
Bath
Bath does
as well.
yeah, like most of the cities.
There's a lot of cities that do have the
Canals
through them that you can moor up. Some of them might be paid moorings, or
mostly free,
but a lot of them are free. Yeah, so you get to experience both the nature and the cities with the canals, and something that you can't experience as much, watching the sunset over the canal is something a little bit special and unique as well if you're in the right spot at the right time and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a positive being amongst the nature of the UK.
Yeah. You can share the experience with a reasonable sized family. Some boats can take up to 12 people. I don't think ours would have done that.
Ours was
Maybe
only
it was meant to.
No, ours was only a 4-berth.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a 6 or 8 or something.
No.
Okay.
Ours was only a 4.
Yeah, but you can definitely. They're pretty big. Like you can fit quite a lot of people in them.
Yeah, and the layouts are all different.
We didn't use like half the space, I don't think.
No. The layouts are all different depending on how many you need to book for and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can take a bigger family or take 2 families and share the space together. So the walkthrough would have shown like double bathrooms and things like that, which helps even for us with the 3 of us. So
yeah,
it's good.
There are a lot of services along the canals, which is a pro as well. So like water dump points, all those things.
Rubbish bins,
like easily accessible, and
you don't really have to
like,
walk hard.
Yeah, there's like pubs along the things, and people that live next to them have put stalls with cakes and stuff like that. Like
cream. Yeah,
it's really
it's quite a community feeling as well.
It's very yeah. Although like people don't the people that live full time don't really like the hire boat tourist people very much, and all the hire boats are very obviously a hire boat.
Yes.
So
and all the live-in people are very obviously live-in,
and it's understandable why, because we'll get to some
busy.
negatives. Yeah.
But that community feel of like along the canal with the pub stops and people coming and going from their canal boat to the pub and stuff like that it's cool.
Right, negatives.
Negative, probably the first one would be the weather. The weather is so variable in the UK. It is the UK. It does rain a lot, and for us, we experienced, I think it was 70 hours of driving time and 40 hours of rain in that time.
And you can't, it's not like driving a car through the rain where you're just driving in the rain. It's a little bit sucky, but it doesn't really matter because you're dry and warm and everything.
You're enclosed. Yeah, it's not like that.
Like you're out there on the tiller.
No shelter.
And then you have to get to a lock and you have to get off and do the lock in the rain. And
yeah.
Then you're still standing out there in the rain. You get wet and it's shitty sometimes.
And people say there's no such thing as bad weather, it's bad clothing. But when you're on a hire as a holiday, you don't really come prepared with everything waterproof, ready to go, and enough for everyone and stuff like that.
Lucky that
they did have
rain jackets.
Yeah.
Luckily. They
had 1 rain jacket and 1 rain pants. Luckily, I had waterproof boots and things, and they had 1 umbrella. And so we had an umbrella already, that we travel with. So we could make it work, but it's not something that, if you're just coming over from somewhere like Australia or wherever for a 2-week canal boat hire, you don't really come with everything you need to be prepared for all of that.
I would if I watched our video. And
yes, exactly. But if you're going to watch this video and you are coming, bring waterproof stuff, because it is the UK and the weather really does make it a little harder to do the boating stuff. If you're on a time frame and you have to drive through it, then you just have to, and you have to do the locks and all that through it. You just have to. But if you're not on such a time schedule, you don't have to go as far, or things like that, and you can just park up and wait it out, then that's fine as well. And it's not that bad, but it's when you have to do that driving stuff in the rain, that you don't have a choice. So you're like,
power system. So the hire boats generally, as a rule, same as hire motorhomes and hire caravans, have crappy power systems in them.
They're basic. Let's say basic.
Very basic. 12-volt lights, a small lead acid battery, so just enough to charge your phone and stuff. Basically, don't expect
and run the
anything
lights for
more.
the night.
Yeah, don't expect anything more than that.
Yeah.
I know if you are doing a longer one, you could consider buying one of those power station things. Up to you.
Yeah, we managed it.
Ours had an inverter, didn't it? but it was only while the engine was running.
Only while the engine was running, and that's set up for the microwave, really.
Yeah.
And we only had one power point.
So we charged laptops while that was happening.
It is why I did work while Daniel was driving as well, so that I could be on my laptop while the engine was running with the power plugged in. So that was part of that.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't do it at night time. I only had one charge really at night time.
This is us because we live on the road. Like, it's our life. We need power for stuff. If you're holidaying,
If you're holidaying,
you can probably make do.
Yeah, charging cameras and
Drones
and
it was a little bit
phones.
stressful for us, but yeah, we may do.
We managed. It was fine. It was just once those first couple of days we worked out what the power was able to do, and then we adjusted our routine to suit that.
Yeah. Internet.
Yeah.
It's a UK-wide thing.
It's just crappy.
Mobile internet is really crappy.
Yeah.
So
again, if you're on holidays and you don't need internet and you can just go with your phone on like whatever it gets, that's fine. Don't worry about this.
Yeah, like there were quite a lot of campsites, like spots along the canal that we chose not to stay the night at because there was literally no mobile service.
Yeah. So we would go a little
like
further.
None at all. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd go a little further and go, yep, okay, we can get service here. Oh, and there's a mooring spot and it's beautiful. We'll stop here. So,
yeah, we took our modem with us and then we bought a SIM on EE. The US, like the UK, don't share mobile networks very well, so EE we found was one of the better ones. We had a few, like we had two different carriers between our two phones and the modem,
yeah.
and EE was probably the better one of the lot for the remote, rural, like canal network area we were in.
Yeah,
but your experience may vary. How much you need internet may vary. And if you really need it all the time, then just buy like a few different SIM cards and whack them in a modem or something, or in your phone, eSIMs.
If you need to.
And still be aware that there'll be quite a lot of times where you won't have any serviceable.
Yes. The boat we had actually had a modem that they said, was Wi-Fi, but you had to have a phone number ring up, activate a certain thing for your account, create a new account, and it was all too hard. We were just like,
it was going to cost, you basically had to pay, even though they said Wi-Fi was included in the price, and we were like, oh, sweet.
Sweet, that's fine.
Then we got there and they were like, no, you got to pay like £100 or £50 or something for 2 weeks or something.
It was going to be crazy. So we were like, luckily we had our own modem and we could sort it out ourselves, but, that is an option if you need it.
Yeah.
And you want to pay it.
Washing machines.
There's no washing machine on board, which does make things a little tricky, especially when you're there for 10 or so nights. We did hand washing along the way. We luckily it was cooler, so we could re-wear some jeans and things. We didn't sweat too much, and things like that. The heating inside, we did a bit of hand washing and then hung it over to dry, and things like that. If things got wet, we hung them to dry with the heaters. They're radiator type heaters.
So
and there are laundromats along the way as well as part of services with like coin laundries and things, so you could use that as...
You got to lug everything, like in a bag, and lug it across to shore to the marina thing.
And then wait it out and do all that. So it is something you have to consider. So if you can pack your clothing to last, do your hand washing to get you through, then that would be the way to do it, in my opinion. So the final negative would be the cost. It's really quite expensive for the higher fees of the canal boat. You can reduce the cost by cooking all your meals because it has a full kitchen on board and mooring for free. But the higher fees are pretty high.
Like we paid $440 a night Australian.
And that was a good deal.
That was a good deal because it was a long length hire and like I had to do some juggling around. It was roughly like around maybe half the price of some of the prices we were seeing.
Yeah.
For hires.
Yeah. So it is on the expensive side, but it is also a unique experience. So you have to weigh that up. We also spent about $20 a day on fuel, so you do have to count for that. You use the fuel, and then it's charged at the end as to how much you've used in that time that you've had it. We did keep the cost down. We did eat it out a couple of times as well, but we didn't venture out too much. So if cost don't really matter, then you can definitely enjoy more pub meals and things as well.
So clothes.
Make sure you pack a variety of clothes for all different weather situations, things that you can kind of get out and do the
some worky sort of clothes, but not too bad.
Yeah, enclosed shoes. ones that you don't mind getting dirty as well. I had a pair of pants.
Quite a lot of mud.
Yeah, mud. You're in grass, things like that. I had a pair of pants that Aria put grease on from the locks, so they were ruined. Yeah, so don't pack your best clothes.
Yeah, have some nice clothes for going out.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
If you want to go out for
and going touristing or whatever.
Yeah, but for your travel
actual,
days or your lock days and things, make that sort of a bit flexible. Also, there is heating on board, but the nights were pretty cool and some days were cool for us, so we had like puffer jackets. So you definitely need that variety of... And we had days where we were sweating and we parked in the shade because it was hot. And you're like, I need heat. I need shade and breeze. So it's the UK. It's the typical UK weather thing. You need to make sure you dress for that as well.
Yeah.
Be careful about falling into the canal. The water is disgusting looking, and I would never want to be in that water.
It's not really adults that have to be that careful. It's kids, right?
No. Well, plenty of ladies at the locks were telling me I was silly for walking across the things because they've fallen in a few times by doing that. Now they never do it. So, and they were like, "Oh," at me. I'm like, no, if I fall in, it's my own fault. And it was quicker. So, and I didn't fall in. Aria did fall in, being silly. She could swim. She was like, and I literally like reached and pulled her out. She was right next to me at the time. And she was out within a second. But it's still, that was...
Didn't have that on the video, did we?
No, because it happened all so quick. We weren't recording at the time, but Aria did fall in, and it was pretty... it's gross.
If you're spending all day around them, it can be just a simple slip or mistake or something.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
Yes.
Cash is important if you want to buy bits and pieces along the way, from like little stalls of cakes and things like that.
Ice cream, or do washing, or things like that.
The coins.
Yeah. All the pubs that we went to all paid by card, but the roadside, the canal side little homemade things were all cash.
Yeah.
So if you want to have that experience, have some cash with you of all different denominations.
Oh, some produce as well. There's quite a lot of produce for sale along the canals from farmers and stuff.
Yeah. So that's another tip for you as well.
Yep. Plan the day. So start day is normally like after 2 p.m. on the day. You pay for like after 2 p.m. on the day, the first night.
Mm-hmm.
Plan a grocery shop for that day so that you can do the grocery shop and then get there at like 2 or 3 p.m.
And unload your groceries.
And unload all your groceries ready to go. Because obviously once you're on the canal boat, it's a real pain in the bum to do groceries because you've got to walk everywhere.
And then carry it all back.
So there was one Tesco that we could have parked right near where we did a extra little U-turny bit. But apart from that, it was walking and backpacks. So
we did that a
couple
of times.
Yeah, but for drinks especially, like pre-buy them.
Yeah, you don't want to be lugging backpacks of heavy items for sure.
Yeah,
you haven't done your groceries.
You can get deliveries done, but it's a real. People do that a lot on the canals that live on there, but it's pretty tricky to figure out how to do it for the first time.
And as a tourist, for sure.
Better just not to.
Yes. And the other thing with that is allow the time to drive there, do your groceries, unload it all, and get the walkthrough done on your first afternoon. So sort of make sure you allow that time, because we actually ended up there when they said arrive between 2 and 4. We got there at 3:45, thinking that they closed at 5. That we'd get there, we'd unload, they'd do the walkthrough at 4.
But no, they literally said you can sleep on board, but we don't have time to do the walkthrough for today for you.
Yeah, they literally close at 4.
Like the dude walks out of the door at 4 o'clock.
At 4 o'clock, he's like, so we're not doing the walkthrough today. And we're like, oh, so it wasn't clear to us
we
that...
basically wasted a night. But I mean, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad. It was fine. He left us plugged in overnight and stuff at the
it gave us
stuff.
time to think about questions to ask him the next day.
Yeah. So
check how things worked, like the heating and stuff, and if we couldn't figure it out, we could ask him the next day.
Yes, exactly. So just allow that extra time. Make sure you kind of get there before, and allow for that that walkthrough time if you want to make the most of that first afternoon as well.
Embrace the slow pace and take it in. So there's 2 aspects to that. First one is it's just enjoyable going slowly. It's nice. And the second aspect is that if you don't have a really ambitious goal of a journey that you want to do, or a loop or something that you only just have time to do, if you only just have time to do that plan, you're going to have to drive in the rain, unless you get super lucky with the weather.
Yeah.
If you have a more relaxed schedule, like you have 11 days and you plan a route that should take 5 or 6,
Then
gives you plenty of time to stop, do touristy things, stop and chill out. If it's raining, you can just stop and sit in the canal boat and have a cup of tea and coffee or whatever. You don't have to be out there driving it in the rain.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be one of my top tips.
yeah, try and embrace the slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that, like, I'm really glad we did the journey we did and got to see the things that we did.
Yes, 100%.
But also,
It was pretty pumping on the way back to make to avoid the rain and things like that.
set of guidebooks that are really good for the canals. Most of the canal shops have them. Most of the hire places have them.
Even the little pub, I think, pubs
have
along
them.
the way. Mm.
Because they're good profit and they're great. They're like, I don't remember how much it was. It was like between £8 and £20, I guess.
Yeah.
£8 and £10.
Can't
Something
remember.
like that. Something like that.
Like $15, I think.
Very detailed, all the info you need, good tourist info about the areas that you're going to pass through and everything. Really good.
Yeah.
Wish they existed for everything. But
Yeah.
the canals are so specific that they can do those detailed write-ups. If you try to do that for like
Everything
everything from motorhome, it wouldn't be possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they
just buy them. They're great.
Yeah, they're probably the one thing that will make your travel the easiest and the most stress-free. Knowing where you're going,
Knowing how many locks there are. There's no Google Maps for cruising, so
yeah, it tells you the locks. You can plan out like how far away it is, things like that. So it's just the thing we think that is a must, basically. That and wet weather gear.
yeah. Ask the high boat staff member who gives you your boat to show you a few of the quick knots for mooring and maybe video them doing that so you can practice them and play around with them. You'll figure it out otherwise. You can always just do granny knots or whatever, but hitches. But
it's always helpful to know the safest way to tie up.
we're not talking fancy. We're just talking like
some basics.
How to wrap it around and then put the thing through so it works well.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is go more up, go for a walk to an attraction, come back and your boat's like not there.
Which happened. We found a boat like that.
Yeah. We had to rescue a boat that was blocking the canal.
Yeah.
Finally, probably the biggest tip of all is don't be afraid to hire a canal boat. A lot of people are like, I've never driven one. I've got no idea about it. I haven't done this before, blah, 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 and it's scary. And it's, I wouldn't have a clue what to do about this. Or, do you know what? That's what life's about. Life's about adventure. Life's about learning new things and experiencing new things and ticking off things that you can say, hey, I've done that. And that's what the canal boat was. I will admit, Dan said, I really want to do a canal boat. And I'm like, he's like, I really want to. And he showed me some videos and I was like, still like, I was like, if you really want to, this is what we travel for, is us, both, all of us, going places and doing things and experiencing things that we want to do and have in our life. And so this was one of the things for him. And so that's why we did it. And it was unfortunate that I was unwell for the first few days. And so it was a bit of a slow start into it. But now that I look back and think about what we did and what we experienced, I really actually enjoyed it. So
sometimes you didn't enjoy it.
There's definitely parts that I didn't enjoy. If I could have had ordered perfect weather, I would have enjoyed it much more again, but I can't control the weather.
Would we do it again is another question.
We probably wouldn't do it again unless we got a really good deal.
Yeah, like if we got something for less than $200 a night, I'd do
consider
it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that doesn't mean we don't recommend you doing it.
Yes, definitely do it once at least.
Yeah.
See if you like it. It's a really cool, unique way to travel.
And if we did more research into it, and there was somewhere that had a canal that went to somewhere that was better accessed by a canal rather than driving and things, then we'd probably consider it again. But we would definitely have to weigh out the budget type of thing for us.
Yeah.
And the price.
We were even discussing like you could go to Bath, you could park a canal boat outside Bath for 2 days at the docks for free and then go and see Bath. And that would make it worth it? But then we just thought you could get an Airbnb or a hotel for that much
for the same price
in the middle of the place.
So it's hard. And the other option is buying your own canal boat and doing it for a long term.
Like they're not 50, 60,000 pounds, like the same as a motorhome.
Yeah. So if you are definitely hire one and then enjoy it, you could look into that option for a more longer term experience.
I think if the UK had better weather, it's something we would consider.
We would consider, yeah, for sure. But we've covered
you have your own power and Starlink and everything.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of the UK now, so
yeah,
not sure. But yeah, as a people to hire one again, we're glad we did it, and we totally recommend it to you as an experience that you can't get anywhere else.
It's very unique.
But yeah, we probably wouldn't do one again soon.
Unless we got it cheap.
Yeah. So I also wanted to say that it doesn't take that long to get used to driving it or how the water works or living on the canal boat. It really isn't a whole new thing. It's the first night and you're comfortable. You understand the power system, you understand the cooking, you understand the hot water and how it works. So it's not a big scary thing. Driving it
can be a challenge. Figuring out how to move the front nose around your currents and things like that. And people make it look easy, and other people have like thrusters in the front of their boats that lets them move it around easily. So the higher boats don't have that.
But it also wasn't hard and scary.
It was stressful, occasionally stressful, and it was a challenge. So I wouldn't say it was easy. Driving it straight down the canal is easy.
Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't matter if you bump into the edge or another boat. It's not like it sinks. Like, you'd have to hit it really hard.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't know. They say generally you can't not bump into something with a canal boat.
Yeah.
So they're designed for that in a way. But yeah, don't let that turn you off doing it, because you do learn and get used to it pretty quickly.
So the boat cost us $3,740 to hire for 11 nights.
The fuel was $220 as well.
And everything else for us, all of our other expenses for that time was $1,020.
Groceries, eating out, insurances, phone sims, everything you could possibly imagine for us and our costs for what we do is in that budget.
So total was $4,980 Australian, or $453 a day.
Which is over our full-time living travel budget.
Yeah. We had to do some cheaper living for a while to make up with that.
For sure. But people say sometimes experiences are worth it, paying that little extra, and we don't regret spending that extra and happy to counterbalance that for our full-time living budget, so that we've had that experience and that we could say we've done it. So we don't regret it at all.
Yep. Jump on and check out some prices for yourself and see if it's doable for you.
Yeah. And hope you enjoyed that.
Hope you learned something.
Hope you liked the walkthrough, the other episodes, and we'll see you back on land in the next episodes as we continue to explore around the UK.
Catch up.
Thanks for watching.
Join us next week as we show you how to spend a relaxing week on the rugged coastline of North Devon. We take you on a short coastal hike into the forest searching for waterfalls and take you to ancient relics in the Exmoor National Park, plus so much more. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss it. We'll see you soon.